Hello, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having us. What an introduction that was. I'm Amanda Palomino,
I'm Boris Palomino.
and 10 years ago, we accidentally became real estate investors without realizing. Actually, I'm going to go back just a second. You see those QR codes? If you can give us a follow on Instagram, that's a shameless plug. Thank you. So as I mentioned, 10 years ago, Boris and I accidentally became real estate investors. Just like everyone else in this room, we were tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I worked corporate America. Boris was in automotive. We had no idea what senior care was. His sister walks into our house and says, "Your house is perfect for senior care." And we looked at her and we said, "You're absolutely crazy. No way." Okay, and then she kind of planted that seed, because all it takes is one person to have some vision, plant that seed, and then for you to kind of take it from there. We went all in when I was pregnant with our first daughter. We opened our first business when she was a year old. That's her up there in a carrier with all of our seniors. And the reason why we opened our first location is because I didn't want to send her to daycare. I wanted to raise my own daughter. I wanted to be a present mom. I wanted to be fully involved in the day-to-day, and there was no better setting than residential senior care. So we gave up our 2,000 square foot home, our primary residence, that had I guess you would kind of call it an ADU these days, but it didn't have a kitchen, so not really, right? 300 square foot room. We moved our family into a 300 square foot room. A couple years later, my son comes along, so now you've got 2 adults, 2 kids, 2 dogs, and 300 square feet for 5 years. But let's get back to the real estate part of it, because we are in LA County, and within 2 years of opening our first location, we were able to afford a second home, and that's what really opened up our eyes on how profitable this business can truly be and how much it can provide for our own family. So instead of moving out and getting another home for ourselves, we did what the smart entrepreneur would do: sacrifice a little bit more. And we opened up our second location. We now have 3, just did a change of location recently, got back into our primary residence, which we're super excited about, and we've been able to build our dream life.
So they always say, what you pay attention determines what you miss. And so for the longest time, Amanda and I just kept our heads down, worked. We had the goal of moving back into our primary home, raising our kids, spending time with our kids, but we didn't look up to see the opportunities that were out there. And the opportunity is this, that we hired a mentor, and he told us, "What are you doing? You need to spread your message. You need to train people in what you're doing, and you need to help people expand to open up more care facilities." And so that opportunity has taken us to start our academy, which we do our masterminds. We've been on podcasts. We've been on stages. For those of you that know RAL, that's Isabel. She is a pioneer in the assisted living coaching industry. She invited us to her conference, and we were on her podcast, which is going to be coming out soon. So there's a lot of opportunities out there that we didn't know. And now we can spread the message for senior care. And one thing I want to emphasize is our main goal is to help others open up quality care homes. There's a terrible stigma behind assisted livings, the big box facilities. Our goal is to open up quality care homes in California and nationwide. We'll get into the numbers. We'll get into the weeds of that soon. I'll start to bore you guys to death with the numbers soon. This has been our life. This isn't a flex board. This has been our life. This is where it's taken us. We've been able to accomplish all of this in just 10 years. And now this is what we want others to be able to do. But if you guys notice, there's an underlying message there. What do you guys see more than anything? Exactly. And unfortunately, yes, I am a Dallas Cowboys fan, but that's besides the point. You know, it's a lot of
So you know
pain.
the pain.
A lot of pain. But anyhow, it's family, right? By the end of our work day, which is normally around 2 o'clock, we go pick up the kids and they have activities. That's our main focus here. So once you have your homes running and operating a certain way, the way we do them, we spend about 5 hours a week in our facilities. The rest of the time we're working on our business, not in our business. Very important. So let's get into the boring numbers. Aging population by 2050, sorry, that's why I don't do numbers. 1 in 4 people in California will be over the age of 65. This is what is known as the silver tsunami. Right now, currently, there is about 6 million seniors in California alone. By 2030, forget the 2050 thing out there, by 2030, there's going to be close to 9 million seniors in California. There's not enough beds. By 2030, there's going to be a shortage of about 500,000 beds.
So just to kind of put things in perspective for you a little bit, when we hear age 65, we always think, okay, we're going to retire at 65, right? That's retirement age, and then we get to enjoy life a little bit. The number of seniors that we personally care for in our care facilities who have had strokes, who can't even get to the age of who can't get to retirement, who need full assistance and are living in our care facility now. So we truly care for a wide range of seniors from 65 all the way to 104 who survived the atomic bomb in Hiroshima. I mean, insane stories that we get to hear. These are the current senior care options if families can afford them. In-home 24/7 care on average will cost $15,000 to $24,000 per month. I actually have seniors moving into our care because they have exhausted all of their savings on in-home care. Assisted living or nursing homes, these are large communities, average anywhere from $11,000 to $18,000 a month. Residential care, now that's what we do. On average, this is California average, anywhere from $4,000 to $10,000. Now here in Riverside, you're probably looking at about close to $5,000 per month.
Can you tell them the difference between services and an assisted living, nursing home, or an RCFE?
Absolutely. So let me go. I have another slide for that. So residential care in California, you're allowed to have 6 residents in a residential setting. State or city cannot deny you. In an assisted living or nursing home, you can have anywhere from 15 residents up to hundreds. And think about the staffing ratios. You press a call button for help, and how long do you think it's going to take somebody to get to you to change a diaper? Maybe 30 minutes, and that's probably a good average. So how do you get into the senior care industry?
So there are 4 options. As Goodwin mentioned, you guys had somebody here, correct me if I'm wrong, who went over acquisitions, correct? So these are the 4 options on how to get into the RCFE industry. Number 1, and I'm going to go from best to worst. Number 1, purchase a property and be the owner-operator. That is the best way. I'll get into the details later. That's the number 1. Number 2, lease a property. If you find someone who's willing to lease that property to you, that's a great way. What's the advantage of that? You don't have to come out of pocket for the down payment. However, you are at the mercy of the landlord, where if he decides, hey, I no longer want to lease it to you, now you got to shut your business down. Also, you have to show to DSS is your governing body, Department of Social Services. You have to prove to them that the landlord is okay with you using that property. Modifications, changes, anything has to go through the landlord. So it's got its benefits and it's got its pros and cons. Option 3, be the landlord. You have a property, you want to get into this industry. What are the benefits to you? You're probably going to make about $500 to $1,000 over the average market price if you lease it to someone else, and you're leasing it to a corporation. You're not leasing it to a single family. So you're protected a little bit more, right? You have a long-term lease, 10 to 15 years, and they're going to make sure to take care of that property, because every year they come out and do unannounced visits to check the property. So if there's anything wrong, anything that needs maintenance or whatever, we could get dinged for it. So we have to make sure that property is in great shape. And option number 4, which I don't really recommend, and I'm going to steal Fernando's line because he's the one that came up with it. You're buying somebody else's problem, right? So you're buying their cooked books, not their quick books. You're buying their culture. You might be buying their lawsuits. You're buying a lot of problems. Now, right now, we're talking about the largest transfer of wealth in America. If you find someone who's trying to retire and you have a great deal on buying an existing RCFE that's already cash flowing, perfect, right? But have someone like us or someone else look at the numbers, make sure that they're correct.
Okay, what exactly is residential senior care facility, RCFE, as you've heard in the past? We do not need nurses or any medical professionals on staff. We are a social model of care. It doesn't mean we don't work with nurses and we don't take care of any of the medical needs of our residents. We are advocates for them. Our residents go through their normal insurance process through their primary care physicians to have home health or hospice come into the home and work with those nurses to report back to the doctor any medical needs. So if there's any nurses that are opening these, that is great. You can be a great advocate, but you're not going to use your nursing license because, again, we've got to protect ourselves, right? We assist with activities of daily living. That means bathing, grooming, medication management, dressing, toileting, arranging transportation, okay? I said a very important word here, arranging. Thank you. We arrange the transportation. I don't actually have to assist or transport my residents to medical appointments. We just have to arrange it for them. And 6 residents or less, city can't deny you. You can obviously go more than that, but you're following some different rules, and now you're dealing with conditional use permits, zoning laws, a little bit more red tape than usual. Not impossible, but our sweet spot is 6 residents or less. This is activities of daily living. These are residents in our home, past and present. That little girl in the purple sweater, that's my daughter who was in a baby carrier when we first started. And that dog right there, he's our cheapest employee. He is a trained therapy dog and a tax write-off.
We pay him in milk bones.
We even have the kids on payroll because they actually work in the facility. We've got the Girl Scouts coming singing off-tune Christmas carols at Christmas time too. Let's take a tour. This is one of our facilities. I love showing this one because we don't own this home, we lease it. And we still get to cash flow the same without that huge down payment. How do I play this? It's not playing. No? No? No, I moved forward, but it's not playing. Is there like a way to?
I'm probably going to screw it up.
Oh, you know what? It's because it's downloaded. Oh, I see. It's downloaded. It's okay. Okay, we're going to skip the tour, but you can see our website and you can take virtual tours of all the homes there. What are the state requirements? It's actually not that hard. We're in real estate, right? Administrator certification, 80 hours, 100-question exam, open book, no experience needed. You pass a city fire clearance. It's the only time your city has any jurisdiction over the property. So the layout of your property is extremely important. So what are we looking for in a property?
You guys ready for this? All right. So you got your notepad and your pen ready. First thing is 1 story, single story. If you have to do a 2-story, make sure the bedrooms are downstairs, okay, which is very difficult. Minimum square footage, 1,500 square foot, minimum, okay? 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms at the very least. The more, the better, okay? Another thing, here's a little trick. We're only licensed for 6. If you can find a property with a large enough lot where you can put an ADU with a separate entrance, separate address, you can now turn that into another facility. You're probably going to be able to only put 4 residents in there. However, now you maximize the amount of residents you can put in that area. You can share resources, meaning your staff, the food, everything. You're in the same area, and you don't have to put the down payment on another on another home. And the value of your property is going to go up because of the ADU as well. So it's a win-win for you guys.
After your home is set up, we pass a licensing inspection. It's when Department of Social Services walks through as though you were ready to open doors that moment. The full 10-step process is here. You can go ahead and take a screenshot of that. I'll let you take a picture of that. That's all the details of what you truly need to do to open up a care facility of your own. The startup investment. Administrator's course costs about $500. Application processing fee about $2,000. Licensing fee getting paid directly to the state of California is $990. They will cash your check and then you won't hear from them for 30 days. That's normal, okay? And then they do require 3 months of operating expenses, anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000. Did we have this when we first started our business?
I was going to ask you, what if I don't have that money? What do I do?
We were in so much debt when we first started our first location. We didn't know what we were doing. It was
her
not
fault.
My fault. We borrowed from credit cards. Dumped it into our business account and called it a day.
Yeah. DSS does not care nor want to know where the money comes from. You dump it in there. It's a little bit of a hack. You're supposed to keep it in there for while you're operating, but just to get you in the door and get going, you can, get a loan. Ask somebody to lend you the money. There's so many different ways where you can creatively come up with this money, put it in there, have it in there for a few months, then send the paperwork. Once you're licensed, then you do as you wish after that.
You've all heard of creative financing before, obviously, right? There is a solution to every problem. If you think any entrepreneur had the answers before they started their business, no. We figure it out as we go, and we make sure that we don't fail. That's a true definition of an entrepreneur. You hustle and you keep hustling. What is SBA loan? Oh, SBA loan. I'm actually getting one right now. I'm really excited about it, and I've gotten one before. SBA, Small Business Administration. On our second location, the SBA gave me federal funds to to purchase real estate under our names. So similar to a conventional loan, you get an SBA loan. It's called an SBA 7A loan. They gave me close to $1 million back then when I purchased that home. And then a few years later, you refi out of it into a conventional loan.
They'll also give you construction funding as well.
Construction funding as well.
If you qualify.
Yes. Yeah.
Also for a lot of anybody who's in healthcare or anything related to senior care, healthcare, or any of that, there's other SBA loans where they'll give you about $25,000 to get started. So those are some of the programs that we've learned recently, partnering up with several banks who do SBA loans.
Yeah, actually right now SBA is giving up to $300,000 in working capital loans. So it's a really great resource.